Chapter for the Physics of Trauma, PHTLS, Exam Quest. Dynamic pressure. The component of an explosion that is directional and felt as a blast wind. Stipple. Multiple small dots resulting from gunpowder from point-blank gunshot wounds. Stopping distance. The distance over which a moving object comes to a stop, a measure of how quickly energy is dissipated or transferred. Newton's first law of motion. A body at rest will remain at rest and a body in motion will remain in motion unless acted on by an outside force. Contact wounds. Key type of wounds that occurs when the muzzle of a gun touches the patient at the time of discharge, resulting in a circular entrance wound, often associated with visible buns, soot, or the imprint of the muzzle. Solid density. Tissue density consistent with bone. Choke. A constriction in the barrel of a shotgun to decrease the amount of pellet spread after firing. Blast wind. The result of the sudden displacement of air from an explosion. Cavitation. The act of forcing tissues of the body out of their normal position to cause a temporary or permanent cavity. Example, when the body is struck by a bullet, the acceleration of particles of tissue away from the missile produces an area of injury in which a large temporary cavity occurs. Compressibility. The ability to be deformed by the transfer of energy. Law of conservation of energy. A law of physics stating that energy cannot be created or destroyed by only changed in form. Shear. Change of speed force resulting in a cutting or tearing of body parts. Intermediate range wounds. A penetrating gunshot wound that occurs at a distance of approximately 6 to 18 feet, 1.8 to 5.5 meters. Blunt trauma. Non-penetrating trauma caused by a rapidly moving object that impacts the body. Diverter. A device on a shotgun to spread the pellets into a wider, horizontal path when fired. Penetrating trauma. Trauma that results when an object penetrates the skin and injures underlying structures. Generally produced both permanent and temporary cavities. Stellate, starburst, wound. A star-shaped wound. Blast over pressure. Pressure exceeding normal atmospheric pressure that results from a high-order explosive detonation. Fragmentation. The breaking up of an object to produce multiple parts or shrapnel. Kinetic energy, Co. Energy available from movement. Function of the weight of an item and its speed, Co equals 1/2 of the mass x the velocity squared. Blast wave. A sharply defined wave front of increased pressure that results from a high-order, explosive detonation. Rifling. Grooves on the inside of the barrel that spin a single missile, bullet, in the stable flight pattern towards the target. Air density. As used in the text, the property of organs having approximately the same weight and density as air, example, lung tissue. Compression. The type of force involved in impacts resulting in a tissue, organ, or other body part being squeezed between two or more object or body parts. Water density. Organs that have a tissue density similar to that of water, example, liver, spleen, muscle. Newton's second law of motion. A fundamental law of physics stating that the acceleration of an object is directly proportional to the magnitude of the force applied, in the same direction as the force applied, and inversely proportional to the mass of the object. Long-range wounds. A penetrating gunshot wound that occurs at a distance greater than 18 feet, 5.5 meters. Peak overpressure value. The maximum value of pressure experienced at a given location at the moment a blast wave from a high explosive reaches the location. Profile. A penetrating object's initial size and the degree of change is size that occurs at the time of impact. Shock front. The boundary between the blast overpressure wave created by a high explosive detonation and normal atmospheric pressure. Esophagus. The muscular tube that connects the mouth to the stomach. Elasticity. The ability to stretch. Newton's third law of motion. A fundamental law of physics stating that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Tumble. An end-over-end motion. Bullets commonly tumble when resistance is met by the leading edge of the missile. Spray/spread. The dispersal pattern of pellets fired from a shotgun.